Okay, hello again to another episode of the Retune live stream stream thingy, whatever. Welcome. We have amazing guests again. First of all, I will talk to Jordi from the Interaction Design Lab in Potsdam. And after that, we'll talk to a group of people because they have a group exhibition at the Art Laboratory Berlin. And we'll see what it's all about. Like, it will be about robots, swarms, and post-humanism. Oh no, shit, I forgot the fourth name. But they will tell us what it's all about. But it's going to be really interesting, I can tell you. And if you have questions, please let us know in the chat. I think you have to log into Twitch for that. I'm not sure. If you are not a regular Twitch user, you might have to do this. If you don't want to do this, you can also send us emails via anything, I don't know, live@retune.de or Twitter, or send Instagram messages if you have questions and you don't want to join the chat. But this show is not at all about me, it's about the guests that I'm inviting. And I'm very happy that Jordi is here, and without further ado, let's get him on this stage here. Hey Jordi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm always a bit nervous when I do live streams. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but probably you did.
I'm nervous too, so it's okay.
Is the music too loud? I think it is. Not sure. It's always confusing me to talk and have the music in the ear. Jordi, perhaps you can tell us a bit about yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a design researcher based in Berlin, actually working at the Interaction Design Lab at the Fachhochschule Potsdam, the University of Applied Sciences in Potsdam. I'm also a design lecturer at the design program, the master program and bachelor program there. And my background is on computer science, but at some point in my life, I decided to go for the design way because I got rid of too much technology or just technology for fun. I just want to do something with technology that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a mechatronics background, so I'm also an engineer, but I don't know, went in different directions. In a different direction. How long have you been at the Interaction Design Lab?
I think I started in 2015 or 16 after my master thesis in Potsdam. I started, I did my bachelor in Barcelona, where I come from, and then I moved to Berlin and started to work in design labs. And at some point I started to do this master, and I stayed there at the IDL, at the Interaction Design Lab. I did the focus in my beginnings were more like computer science, computer vision. I was investigating the new applications of interactive projection for example, for games or something like this, but also for serious applications like disaster management. Mm-hmm. After this phase in my research career, so to say, I started to research on prototypes and features, etc.
And that's also the project you're working in. It's also called Prototype, right?
Yes.
Did you write the proposal for this as well? Were you already there in that phase?
No, I didn't write the proposal. The proposal was written. I mean, it's a joint project. It's not only a project that is happening in Potsdam. It's a joint project together with a media sociology department of the University Mainz, the Technical University in Munich, us, and the Deutsches Museum in Nuremberg. This is the German museum that is, I think the opening is the end of this year, 2021, and it will be the feature museum. It's a science museum, features museum, etc. So we are working together with them to do an exhibition there in the end of this year.
Ah, cool. So the results of the project will be shown there, or is it, is it already finished then, the project?
The project finishes in December this year, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We started 2018, so we are in the third year now. And yeah, we are working now on like reflecting on the results of the project to stage them on the exhibition.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you go a bit more into detail what the project is about? I mean, prototypes are a wide field. What's your interest in there, or what's the approach? What's the research question?
So the main research question is which is the role of prototypes and prototyping for communicating future ideas, future visions, etc. And in our main focus in Potsdam is on critical design, prototyping and critical design, and we are investigating new roles of prototypes for creating critique, to express critique, but also for developing alternative visions of the future. Like we are not just using design as for critical inquiry of, for example, technological trends, scientific trends, etc., but you're using it as a medium or as a method for opening new perspectives to design alternative futures to these mainstream futures that we are seeing in Hollywood films. I don't know, institutionalized futures in the end.
Yeah, and do you create these ideas yourself, or do you run workshops? Like, how do you work? What's your day-to-day work look? How does it look like?
We have a double role, I would say. So we are not directly creating these new visions, but we are developing the methods for, so to say, irritating the design process, and together with students in Potsdam in design courses for the master program, and also in workshops, in open workshops, to co-design with students and participants these new ideas, new visions.
Yeah. You have some slides also. Should I show them already?
You can show them already, yes.
Okay, wait a second, because perhaps we get a bit more visual understanding. But how many people are working in the project apart from you?
I'm working in Potsdam. We are 3. Frank Heitmann, which is the project lead. My colleague Paula Schuster, she's a design researcher, and myself. And then in the other 3 joint teams, I think like two researchers per team plus the project lead, so to say. So we are like 12 people. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So in this image that you are showing, that was actually my like a project that I did in this master times in Potsdam, which was this interactive projection it was combining digital projection with physical artifacts, and the goal was to use the room, the surface as game stage. I was investigating like new interaction paradigms to combine digital information with physical items. I think it's a classical project in this computer vision. I think you were actually at the Golan Levin workshop in Resonate Festival. I was also there. Yeah,
that was I don't know, 2015. Yeah, 2015. Yeah, that might be. Wow. Yeah, that has been a while. I mean, Resonate Festival, I think, is still. I don't know. Like it was a huge thing for the community building, also for the Berlin community. I have the feeling.
Yeah.
It's it's a
was
pity
like
that it doesn't exist
Belgrade.
anymore. Yeah. But it's different, like meeting in Belgrade than meeting in Berlin. I've been discussing that with somebody else recently, and it just feels different. I don't know. I'm also curious how this whole traveling thing will turn out. Like, I mean, we have learned now that we can meet like this virtually and talk about stuff. Yeah, but still, I don't know, like going somewhere else with other people and everybody's present 100% for a weekend is just like changes people, you know, like changes the way you come together. I don't know, but that's a different, a whole different.
I hope we go back a little to the place we used to be.
Yeah, sure. But the question then is, of course, with flying and stuff is not getting any better. But back to the project. Is that wasn't the project that was developed in the prototype project? So these are your own, right?
No, these are previous projects. It was my background.
That's cool.
This was another project in which we combined satellite imagery for disaster management, for helping people to respond to natural crisis. And I picked these projects because my background changed my way to understand the use of technology and design. So, for example, in this project, which was a very relevant project for its goal, so to say, in the end, I asked myself, why are we trying to solve everything with technology? Or every problem with technology. Technology is not bad, but why should we solve everything with technology? If we are, in this case, using paper maps for ages, why should we start using for everything digital maps? And I had this dilemma between digital, physical. That was my topic also with this interactive projection, how to combine in better ways this physical and digital. And this is something that I took with myself for the prototype project, since my question was always, why do we have always these mainstream feature visions that are always efficient, that are always using technology for everything, that are efficient, that are convenient and comfortable? And that opened the question, how could we use design for doing the opposite? Like just not to create features that are uncomfortable and inefficient and inconvenient, but to use it in the design process in a way that we open new perspectives. And this is more or less the mindset that we have in Potsdam in this prototype project, like how to irritate, to provoke with prototyping in the design process, to open new ways to design the future.
Yeah. And do you have like, when did the project start?
The project started 2018.
18. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So are there any, like, you have a lot of questions? Do you also have answers already? Some of them, like small answers perhaps, or like small parts or small things that have been developed in the project?
Well, as I said, in the project we are focusing more on the design process. Like we are developing methods or methodology for irritating this design process and to investigate it in workshops and in design education. And because we think this mindset of why are you, or that design has implications at many levels, should also be considered direct in design education, not only design research. So we have done some seminars and some workshops where we have where we came up with other design solutions using this methodology. I think I had some slides like showing it. This was just showing the German museum where we'll be we're doing the exhibition for in the end of the project with the project results.
Yeah.
And
where exactly is it?
Nuremberg.
Nuremberg. Yeah, I don't know. I've been to Nuremberg, I think, only at the train station. So I don't know. Okay, yeah, nice.
And but in the next slide, I think that was these are some insights of one of this nice. Process. That was the seminar that me and Paula Schuster, my colleague, did 2 years ago in Potsdam. And these are some examples of the design process. These are not even the end projects, but an example of how we use this mindset. Like these are some counter proposals to convenient artifacts.
Okay, and the goal was to have ideas for really like inconvenient forks, for example.
For example, yes. Yeah. Like I think this was a workshop we conducted on the first day, and these are the results after 1 hour. Like we are working a lot with lo-fi prototyping and simple materials because they help people to build things fastly, and the confrontation with the materials help them to come up to other ideas. So here we picked some everyday artifacts, everyday products, and asked students to design a very convenient version of this product and a very inconvenient version of this product. So in the end, we had a wide spectrum of different possibilities to understand, why things are designed and how could we design things otherly, so to say. And this is one example of how we are working to use design to test these borders or to define this meaning and value of how do we want to design. And the next slide, this is our student project, a final project that came up in another seminar. This seminar was named Stranger Living, Our Dumb Cities, the New Smart Cities. And here we were questioning the understanding of smart cities. Why are smart cities always efficient? The thing I said before, efficient, convenient, everything is automatized, optimized, smart, fast, etc. So we tried to go the other way around and try to see how a dumb city would look like. which is more like what we do have now during Corona, probably in some in some ways.
So because what were the ideas here? Like how does the dumb city work? Like it doesn't know anything about it. Does it use technology in a dumb way, or doesn't it use technology at all?
The thing is that dumb and smart and convenient and inconvenient were always related. Sometimes something that seems to be convenient is inconvenient at the same time, and the other way around. In this example, it was about participation, like how do you say, Bürgerinnen, citizen participation.
Citizen, yeah.
Citizen participation, and so they tried. Like the dumb thing here was the city is designed with parcels, like with slots, and these slots have a limit in time, so you can use one city slot like for 1 week or 2 weeks, and they have to be always iterating. And citizens can always decide what is this slot about. It is a cinema, it's a park, it's everything else. But there is always this limitation. So they developed like a design fiction to visualize this reality. And the important thing about this project was not that we want to live in a future that is this way, like where we like anything is staying the whole time and as everything always changing, but just to open questions, to give some solutions, and just to check borders.
Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah.
This one was another project, a student project that came up in the same course, and here was the thing of we were starting the pandemic. It was last year in spring last year. So the question was, how do we react to world crisis? And how can we use design to make people more resilient, to adapt to this crisis, etc.? So through iterations, these students took a matrix of world crises that were defined by the UN, the World Crisis Report, and tried to visualize the consequences of this crisis with scenarios, but also with artifacts.
What does this? Yeah, sorry. What does this World Crisis Report say? Is there like scenarios for crises in there, or what's it about? Do you know how it looks like?
Yeah, these are scenarios that, for example, I don't know, food crisis or like climate change related scenario. I don't remember now. I can look. But it's a general report from the United Nations that are giving an insight of a prognosis of possible future crisis, terrorism, digital terrorism, this sort of things.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you can just Google it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. They were visualizing them a bit more and getting like the scenarios a bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Lunchbox futures.
Yeah. So what they did is try to make these scenarios that seem to be very far away to make them more tangible, maybe experienceable through everyday situations, so everyday scenarios, and also with prototypes.
Yeah. So there were also tangible outcomes of this.
Yes. Yeah. This was a visualization that students did for the project and probably for the museum, for the exhibition. But they did a lot of iterations doing this, so to say, diegetic prototypes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and yeah, that's something we definitely want to talk about, because you have an upcoming workshop. But yeah, like the workshops you mentioned before were a student project at the FH Potsdam, right?
Yes.
But this one here is different, right?
This was different. A lot of work in Potsdam. Yes, as I said, we are working in seminars where we are using our methodology for investigating these roles of prototypes and to look for new ways for opening alternative features. Mm-hmm. And we are also organizing, in the context of the research project, 2 workshops. The first workshop was already in October last year, and the second workshop is in 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
10th and 11th of June. So in the first workshop, we developed future utopias. Mm-hmm. And in the second workshop, in 2 weeks, we will go more into a near future and develop concepts for urban futures, near futures.
Yeah, because for those who don't speak German, the slide says the other city alternative futures of urban mobility.
Yes. So the goal of this workshop, as I said, is to develop now concepts for alternative urban features, and we will question again this understanding of efficiency, but also going to this social aspect of design. Sometimes in critical design and speculative design, we come up with scenarios. For example, the scenarios I showed before, mm-hmm. But we are sometimes forgetting the social perspective. For example, which new privileges are we implementing with this scenario? With how to look discrimination? For example, who is doing the dirty work in such a scenario? So we are trying to look at these aspects. How can other city be more empathetical and more resilient, but also more to have more solidarity, etc., etc.
Yeah, and this is basically a public workshop where people can apply or just sign up for, and it's 2 days.
These are 2 days, 2 half days, from 2 to 6 p.m. every day. And the workshop is open and it's free. So you just have to go to Eventbrite, register to the workshop. And one cool thing about it is that we are sending a material box to the participants, because, well, as everybody knows, we are in the middle of a pandemic. We cannot do like analog workshops, like we cannot meet to do the workshops. So we're doing it remote, but we have developed like an hybrid format. So we will send participants a kit with materials, prototype, and we will combine this prototyping sessions with discussions on in this digital setting.
Yeah, but what will be in the box? Like just paper and pen, or is there Arduinos and stuff?
It's more materials. It's I don't know, called Pfeifenrein. Also this lo-fi materials that help people to build things in a way that are not. I mean, we won't send that many microcontroller because not everyone is
Sure. Yeah.
can code it. That was also one aspect that we wanted to push, that everyone can design, everyone can prototype, and we don't want to exclude anybody because some person cannot code or cannot design or cannot, like the mindset is that everyone can build the future. So that's the reason why we are using this these materials, these easy materials.
And basically everybody, you're looking for everybody who would be interested, or are you specifically looking for people who have a background in design or like future foresight or whatever?
Well, in the end, we have divided the tickets in design tickets and other tickets because we wanted to have some designers to. We will divide the participants in groups, and it will be good if we have some designers in each group to have somebody that has more like this aesthetical way of doing, so to say. And but it's open for anybody. We will be actually happy to have people from different ages, different backgrounds, etc.
Who don't have a regular job. Yes, Toast Hawaii says on the chat that it's during regular working hours. That's really
that's a problem.
So but I know how this is. I'm always I always don't know. Like when we were doing the festival, it was always hard to say if it's more a weekend thing or if we do it on the weekdays. It's like it's always hard to decide because some people would call this a professional event and other people so it could be part of your job going there, and other people of course like do something else then it's more like a free time thing, but that's always a problem.
Yeah, it's an in between that we have to find, especially now during Corona, that we are in front of the screen a lot of hours. It was also something important to respect the weekends for people that want to just rest.
Yeah,
and also our own weekends.
Yeah. So, but the sign up is still open, right? So you can still sign up for this?
You can still sign up. I think there are very few tickets now.
I will put the link in the chat. It's the anderestadt.eventbrite.de. Yeah, it also says it on the slide actually.
And if the event is sold out, you can also register to a waiting list. If anybody's popping out, then we will contact you.
Yeah, you can't. The designer slot is full. I can see that here. But the other disciplines slot is still available. So if you are other discipline, then you can still join the workshop. I think it sounds super interesting. Will the results be, or in general, like the results of the project, they will be shown in the exhibition, but will there also be some kind of publication that talks about the methods you have developed in the project? Not this workshop, but the project in general?
Yeah, of course. We are working actually in some publications, more research publications, but yes, probably we will also do some catalog related to the exhibition where we will show in more detail the results in a more visual way, not in this scientific way.
Yeah, cool.
So you can the project website is prototyping-features.org. So we will probably post everything there.
Yeah, nice.
And we also have the website of the Interaction Design Lab, where we will also post everything related to the project.
Cool. Interesting.
And
Sounds
we were
great.
actually citing
Yeah.
you on our articles. You published a book about prototyping and prototypes some years ago.
I didn't mention that, but I've been also doing research on exactly this topic. It was more about, like, my personal research was more about physical and like hybrid prototypes, working with virtual reality when there still wasn't an Oculus Rift. If I would have done this research a couple of years later, it would have been much easier, I think. But yeah, with Jörg Petroschat, I also published a book, but it's almost 10 years ago. It's, I think, 2012 we published it. I can't really remember what was in there. But it's a nice book, you should get it. I think perhaps you can still buy it. I don't know. It's from
yeah, we bought it in the beginning of the project. It was a reference.
Ah, nice. I think I'm not sure if I get tantiemen for it still. Sometimes thanks for referencing the book. Very good.
Promotion.
Very good. Yeah. So, and everybody, if anybody else is interested, you should get the book. It's called Prototype with an exclamation mark. Form und Zweck Verlag, 2012 or something. But it's still very topical. As you can see, it's still up to date. Jordi, it was super nice talking to you about the project and about the workshop. If anyone wants to join the workshop, you can do that via the link I posted in the chat. It's dieanderestadt.eventbrite.de, and apart from that, you can get more information about the whole Prototyping Futures project. No, it's not called. It's just called Prototype, the project, but the website is Prototyping Futures. So the website is called prototyping-futures.org. You can find more information about it there. Jordi, it was nice seeing you again, and see you around.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Fun with the other round. Ciao.
Good luck. Yeah, our next guest. Sorry, I'm always a bit confused in the beginning of the stream. The exhibition is called Swarms, Robots, and Postnature, and it's happening at the Art Laboratory Berlin. And without further ado, are you already ready? Yeah, you're nodding. You're nodding. It's sometimes, you know, when you are in this tool, I can see our guests already here, and sometimes people are a bit, I don't know, like überrascht when they come on stage and they're, I don't know, what does überrascht mean? I forgot.
Surprised.
Surprised. Ah, yeah, not that hard. Hey, yeah, we have 3 guests here. It's Regine Rapp oder Regine Rapp, as you can choose. Or I was allowed to choose. I'm not sure if everybody is allowed to choose. She is running the Art Laboratory Berlin. Then we have Käthe Wenzel. She's one of the artists exhibiting there. And then there's also Kanno, which you might have seen in other projects we did, or we already did a studio visit at So's place. And yeah, he's also an artist involved in there. And there's also Sofia Crespo involved there. She's also showing a piece, but she isn't here tonight. Unfortunately, she might join later, but I hope if she does, I also see that. But yeah, perhaps we see her later. Otherwise, we'll talk about her work a bit anyway. She's working with machine learning a lot. She's also been at the Retune Festival already and in other exhibitions we did. But Regine, perhaps you could tell us a bit about what the art laboratory is at first, and then what the exhibition is about.
Sure. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very good.
Thank you for inviting, Julian. This is so kind to be present here at Retune. Art Laboratory Berlin, I'm running it actually and co-directing and curating it with Chris Delutz. And Christian Delutz is actually from New York, also has a background in art and art history. And my background is actually very classic from humanities art history. Mm-hmm. And it was in 2006 when we were with other art historians and artists wanting to create an exhibition space in Berlin, a non-commercial, to show the international art scene, and we started constantly interdisciplinary. So we moved ourselves actually in these last 15 years from art and text, art and music, time and technology, synesthesia. Actually, we went to the life sciences. And we were actually we developed very big interest in art and science. And so recently, in the last maybe 5 to 8 years, we consider ourselves an art and research platform. Mm-hmm. But this is really loungy music here.
It's a loungy event, so we have loungy music. Yeah, it's always a bit complicated with the music because it's we can't play any. I can't put on Spotify or something, so it's always like.
Sure. No, it's really relaxing. Actually, what I wanted to give you a quick insight what we do and maybe why we do what we do. To talk then in a little while about swarm robots and Postnature and Käthe. So basically, at Art Laboratory Berlin, we made a whole journey into what we would call our hybrid art and also artistic research, because we have a lot to do with artists. They know different scientific areas very well, for instance, in biotechnology or synthetic biology or in chemistry, biochemistry. And we very much want to tackle current themes, climate change. You probably know this term Anthropocene, which is a very strange way and word, because we actually at Art Laboratory Berlin, we did a lot of series in the last few years where we show artistic research, which is actually decentering the human from the attention. So we go into animals, microbiology, we go into fungi, and we had series of the microbiome, of intelligence of animals, basically non-human networks, and then always we try not only this classical format of exhibition, which we have in Wedding. We have our exhibition site in Prinzenallee. We also exhibited in Futurium or in Alfred Erhard Stiftung in Auguststraße. But then also we try always to combine it, to put it in context. So we have conferences, workshops, seminars, talks. In the pandemic times, we had, of course, a lot of virtual online presences. And also that's what we have tried now here with So and Käthe, and next week with Sofia, to be actually virtually more present, which is actually a wonderful thing. We reached out globally. Basically, you have an international audience, and it's sad to neglect Berlin local hood, but hope we will get there back. So actually, our journey was from non-human subjectivities, non-human agents, fungal kingdoms. And then this year, actually, we wanted to move on to artificial intelligence and the technological, the machine, together with the biological. This is how Chris and me, we had the idea of this trias, and I think it is, of course I'm biased, but I think it works really well to bring together here three amazing artistic positions. Käthe Wenzel, Kanno, and Sofia Crespo. So we have here in the exhibition, we present artistic positions or swarms, and this is a really wide field, as we also will see later on. Swarms is a very interdisciplinary term. It is interesting not only for biologists, but also for robotics, etc. And we also have positions in the exhibition connected to robotics. But there's a wide range. So from bone bots, from Käthe's bone bots, up to the laser mice by Soul. There's a whole range, there's a whole dispersive field of robotics, of maybe low-tech, ironical robots up to high-tech, software, high-end software robotics. We'll talk about this in a while. And then also, I think this exhibition shows these really interesting positions, really a challenging discourse of where the boundaries of natures are, or maybe only for humans, and how we can transgress that, right? And nature and post-nature, this is why we dared to put it already in the title. And at Art Laboratory Berlin, nature has always been an issue to critically investigate and just to neglect already the dichotomy of nature and culture. But now we actually basically wanted to move into the debate of the technological and the biological, what can be programmed, what can be maybe not programmed and not even predicted. So I don't want to take away too much, Käthe and so, but just to give you maybe from my curatorial point of view, a little intro is what we found fascinating, Chris and me, to bring together is basically the discussion of technology in nature, learned tradition, and approaches from synthetic biology, representing semi-living machines or non-living machines. This is also another interesting discourse of the living and the non-living. Then also, Käthe will give you a more thorough insight in a little while, but this is really fascinating because we will discuss and see works of bones, animal bones. So we see costumes and we see robots connected to bones. So I think it's a whole range of body politics and biopolitics at its best. Don't want to take away too much, Käthe. And actually, then also I think we can very much talk about body politics in a way of beauty rituals and age discourses and aging, and maybe transhumanism if we want. But actually, you said it earlier, Julian, posthumanism. I think you said this at the beginning, and this is very much a dear philosophical direction from Art Laboratory Berlin, which is please not to be confused with transhumanism, but exactly in this exhibition and connected to Käthe, maybe we can exactly critically discuss the approaches of transhumanism. And then we are so happy to have a very new work, Laser Mice Diet, in the show. This is actually an updated version of Laser Mice, and this is we're happy that we could open the show to the public last week. And this is really something with Käthe's and so works, and of course with Sofia's works as well. But it's an important moment of embodied experience. Here you see here actually the installation Laser Mice Diet, which still will explain us in a little second. So it is very much robotics at its best connected to those position, and also combining swarm in a biological meaning and also connected to a robotics meaning. Then as also what you can learn from animals and swarming and up to stigmergic behavior, actually. Very interesting. I think from the human viewpoint, we might actually learn a lot. It's a sort of a non-linguistic communication system. Let's wrap it up. With Sofia, happy to have in the exhibition someone who's really interestingly, interdisciplinarily as all three artists here have very interdisciplinary approach, very interesting cross-disciplinary approach, but also with Sofia, which she, from an art point of view, here we have the neural zoo in front of us here, that we have with Sofia, someone who's exploring artificial life and generative forms of life, and probably our gaze. Please write in the chat if I'm expecting you to have my thoughts, maybe you have different thoughts, but probably the first sight we thought, okay, parrot. And then you look closer, and then we are trapped, right, in this way of recognizing, or in the way of, there's something odd. And then you have this sort of a Brandons effect, and you're already in this game of neural network, and what is it being programmed, or what would be our brain considers to be a parrot. So we are already visually taken in the discourse, basically, of AI and neural networks. And so she goes to the idea that technologies are distorted products of the organic life that produce them. And so it's also a way of separating our expectations of nature and maybe also what AI can do and develop, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, in the end, also the neural zoo, we wanted this so badly. She has another project also in the exhibition. This is not jellyfish. But what we see here is me coming from art history. Just a sentence, Julia. I was struck with the expectation that we know from the very dusty and old discourse of natural history museums, where we basically have to deal with taxonomies. Or maybe the school class is going there, they're learning the natural flora and fauna through dry taxonomy, very human-centered. And then actually with the AI, basically, this is one of the many takes with Sofia. She really breaks and questions even that very traditional approach to nature. And I think we can separate it. So this is basically a little quick overview from my art theoretical, art historical, art curatorial point of view of our current exhibition.
Thank you so much. You have some noise on your audio. I'm not sure. Perhaps your computer is the fan is going wild. I'm not sure what's happening. Now it's better.
Now it's gone.
Now it's gone. Strange.
It's gone. I just touched the computer. Maybe it needed some.
It needed some touch. That's very nice. That very much fits the exhibition also. So it's about like different approaches to, I don't know, new nature, an outlook on nature, kind of. That's kind of like an overall topic, perhaps. Like from what I understand. Would you say that too, or?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, my robot is like the swarm behavior is inspired from nature. Like the swarm collective behavior is basically known for like birds or fish or those bee or ants that like there is no leader, but just there each node, like each agent, each animal or insect interact with each other, and then in the end, like with a number of those, then they make something happen. Like it's called emergence. And for birds or fish, in their case, like they just move together and looks like huge one big thing. But like it depends on the animal and beings, and they do different things. But I wanted to use this for audiovisual installation, and I have in total 60 robots in our installation. This time I'm using only 30 because the area is a little bit small, but they're communicating with laser beam, and so then when they detect lasers shoot from others, they also do chain reaction, and like all of them repeating the same behavior, but when they detect a laser shoot from other, they change the timing. And with this like chain reaction, in the end, like the rhythm they're generating is changing little by little. And this I found like quite organic. It's quite different from the system that usually like robots has. Like usually robot has like the leader and like it's a kind of a tree system and like the order just coming from the top and all the robots synchronize at the same time or something. That's the usual normal robot behavior. But mine is I actually sending the parameters like speed or those kind of things, but in the end, like robots are behaving by their own. So
yeah, I found
this kind of natural.
I found a small video on your website actually. Perhaps we can like look into this to get perhaps for the people who don't know the piece get an idea of what this looks like. Perhaps without the with the sound.
Yeah. So in a way, it's kind of
Wait a second. Okay, I'll put it down a bit.
it's kind of middle between like music concert and like when you go to the campsite or something, like you listen to cricket singing or those like robotic version of those the sound behavior from the nature. That's basically what I wanted to make.
Yeah, but this, I think it's the video from the original laser mice. What does the new one do differently?
The new one has two states. There's a green and red, and one is so the first version was only green, and this new version has green and red. And
so the communication is more complex, basically, between them.
Yes, it's complex. If you shoot it by red, and then you become red, and if you shoot it by green, and you become green. And with this, and also the sound was only striking floor, like this ka 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 sound, but like with the new one, there's a tambourine with a vibrator motor. So like there's also shang 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 shang. So there's a two sound and two color, and they're kind of like fighting each other, like affecting each other. And I made a kind of algorithm that like the minority is moving faster and majority moving slower. So the minority will get more effect to the crowd and vice versa. So it looks kind of interesting. Like it also looks like a simulation of this pandemic, kind of like people like made a simulation how fast it could go spread or something. It also looks like that, and also it also kind of look like polarization of like political state and stuff, like how riot goes really viral or those kind of. I wanted to put this thing happening in our society as well. So yeah, that's what the new version has.
Nice. Yeah, that's super interesting, and looks very good. I also very much
it looks a little bit Star Wars.
I really like the haircuts you do there. Oh, wait a second. Wasn't there an image also of different haircuts. Yeah, this one. What is
yes,
this?
this is a workshop. Yes. Yeah, this actually, like Jordi says, like to have the workshop in this pandemic, they say like sending the box, right? Like for this one, I did in Japan, and like we sent the robot for kids, and kids opened the box, and there's the robot there, and they have they're making their own haircut and send me back.
So are they like this
them
in the exhibition now?
No. Unfortunately, no. We were also planning to have this in Berlin, but now this situation, we couldn't make it. Yeah, but that would be fun. But actually, this like designed hair from the kids, like running with this eccentric hairstyle exhibition for like 2 months.
Yeah,
it will be quite difficult.
Nice. Yeah, I like this. I really like this.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Style.
Kids are really cute.
Fun.
They named.
They have names? What did you say?
No. In the workshop, in the end of the workshop, kids present their name and their character, and that was really how to say, kind of touching. Like the one point is like I made just robots as a swarm. For me, like all of them doesn't have a name. Like it's not an individual. Like I just have numbers to fix, or okay, like this number is not working or something. But after this exhibition, like the I see kids' face beyond the robot. Like okay, yeah, this I remember these kids, and I even remember this name or something. And so it's now like with this version, like the swarm is not only just a swarm. It's a collective like it's a classroom.
Yeah. Somebody asked if what website this is. This is yours, but it's
the website is now broken.
Yeah, but it's better than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was something very strange. Today it's only the certificate is broken, and if you trust so that he doesn't put you, I don't know, any spam on your computer, then you can enter the website. Because just briefly, that's the piece you're showing in the exhibition. But you have been working on other stuff also before, obviously. When I met you, I think we met.
Yes, we met through this project, and like you guys, like Sonas development.
Yeah. That was, I don't know, you and Takahiro came to my studio, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something. There was really
8 years ago,
perhaps,
yes,
eight perhaps, because you had a project. A similar project with drawing machines, for example, this senseless drawing bot that was shooting paint onto paintings.
Yes, shooting paint. Yes. You guys doing paintball?
Yeah. We were working with a machine that shoots paintballs and draws huge images onto walls. The facade printer.
I remember.
That's how we met actually. And but to show also a bit of background, like where you're coming from. So you've also been working a lot with drawing machines. That's kind of
drawing machine.
It's a genre in itself, I think, in the media art.
Yeah,
history.
drawing robot. Yes, like now it's quite a lot. Like a lot of people has like pen plotters.
Yeah, perhaps Regine, you're more I'm not an art historian. Perhaps is there anything you could say about drawing robots or drawing machines that in the art history?
I find this fascinating. I'm thinking of action painting, and I'm thinking of automated painting, Richard Jackson, for instance. But I think that was more seriously meant it probably was from a more serious approach in connection to painting as such, in a modern understanding of painting.
Yeah.
And I see here this playful take with So and your colleague, and the randomness and the replaceness, maybe, to random painting or LED painting, or the fun for automatization of painting.
Yeah. What I also found always interesting about drawing machines is that it's not about the drawing, you know, like when you have a painting, it's the painting that you exhibit. In this case, you're exhibiting the process of painting, the performance. It's more like a performative art thing. And I always liked this. Like we also had robots that were like drawing on walls.
On the wall.
And we exhibited them for months. And that was nice because like the piece was always changing over a long course, and that's also something I like about this. But also actually with the laser mouse, it's also kind of the same way. Like it's always different when you look at it. It's never the same.
Yeah.
It is very
interesting about painting. Sorry, Regina.
No. Go ahead, Käthe.
What I think is really interesting about painting machines is that it's a complete satire on the idea of the God-inspired artist who creates a unique piece of art that is individual and cannot be repeated, while the machine, of course, is supposed to produce a series of repeatable objects. And both, of course, is wrong, because we know that even Titian made a whole series of famous Venus paintings because they sold so well and he had to pay his rent like everybody else. And of course, like especially So and I, we know that machines, even if they do produce series, it's very hard to get them to reproduce the same thing over and over again. That every machine is an individual and keeps having its little breakdowns and changes. So that's what I like. Actually, I made a group of painting robots a while ago. I think they're still in the US. That was called the Arena of the Artbots. And they were they were made from toy diggers. They were running on these, like little tanks. And I made new casings for them. And they were remote controlled by the audience.
Ah, really? That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it was quite tricky. In the end, there was paint everywhere, and yeah.
Is there an image we can on your website?
On my website, if you go onto my website, onto projects, there are the artboards.
Yeah, because Käthe, sorry, we have been we didn't invite you into the discussion yet so much, but it's good that you took the initiative, and I would because you're the artist in the exhibition I don't know personally yet. So I'm very interested in learning more about you and your work. But you're not only an artist, you're also teaching a lot, right? You're a professor.
Well, I'm an art professor, so yes, I'm a professor because I am an artist.
Yeah. But you're also
I'm
teaching.
I'm a professor for aesthetic practice in its context at the European University in Flensburg.
Flensburg. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where's
if you scroll up, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we would like to have a look at these small paintbots, if you scroll up and you go on projects up in the menu, you don't, right, and then there is Arena of the Artbots right there, exactly.
Ah, yes, I think I saw this.
Yeah, see, one has one ear. You know, you might remember a painter who had one ear, and
Oh, that's nice.
Fascinating parallels between So and Käthe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Pablo Vincent. Okay. Nice name.
So what are those controlled by? Did you say that?
They're remote controlled by the onlookers, by the viewers, so by the visitors in the gallery. They get remote control, and then they have to figure out how this works. This is the tricky part, to lower the brush into the paint. Normally, a lot of people then make the paint topple over, and then you put the brush onto you lower it onto the paper, and you make the robot move around. So this was somebody trying to make a smiley.
Of course, like it doesn't go well, right? That's the
No,
thing.
never.
I like to see this thing. Oh.
So we're getting closer. Yeah.
Not that bad. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Circle works well, of course.
That's true.
It's always like this thing of painting when you're in between, in it. It's phenomenological.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
Of course, they would always break down in mid-performance, and I was always waiting with additional batteries by the edge of the arena, ready to change and to provide new electricity and new paint. And
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, to come back perhaps to the piece you're exhibiting, or you're exhibiting several pieces in the exhibition, right?
Regina and Chris decided to include in the exhibition an entire group of so-called bone costumes. And also what you're showing here, these are the bone boards, which are closest to what we have been talking about. The bone boards are small, half organic, half technological animals that walk around, I don't know, insect-like, or maybe also like rodents or so. They're built from bones and mostly plexiglass and gearbox, and they run on AA batteries. And the funny thing about these is similar. They're all built from the same basic components, among the same principles, but they all behave differently. For some reason, and some are really hectical busy little walkers, and some are more majestic and slow, and it's that's what I like about them. They're all individuals.
What kind of bones do you use for that? Human bones?
No. They're so hard to find, very hard to get by. No, I mostly use animal bones. And I used to get them from the Thai restaurant around the corner. I just got them out of their trash bins, and for a while they just gave me the bones. They were really sweet about it. But then I started using professionally prepared bones, which are whiter and more durable. Because you have a problem when there remains too much grease in the bone. The grease can turn into acid, and that can affect the bone over the years, or like over 20 years or so. And these bones come from, so specifically these bones. These are mandibles from U.S. American raccoons. I also have a lot of. I use what I can get, right? I used a lot of bobcat bones when I started building these when I was a Fulbright exchange scholar in the US. That's why I have so many US American bones. And back in Europe, I'm working mostly with professionally prepared bones from roadkill. That is probably a lot of foxes, a few badgers, and also probably also raccoons.
Yeah, and why bones?
Why bones? That's why it's so great that the bone boards and the bone costumes are being shown together at the Art Lab at the moment. Because it all goes back to my early work with costumes, like 20 years ago, nearly, not quite, yeah. I worked a lot about costumes. I was very interested, especially in corsets, in historical corsets as tools for shaping bodies. A lot of my work, and I like that about what Jordi said. Jordi said so much of our daily narratives, the daily narratives we consume are about stereotypes. They're about white families living in the suburbs. Yeah? And this is what corsets were all about at some time. They were all about shaping individual irregular bodies into bodies that would fit the stereotypical narrative of that time. Yeah? So I work a lot about the gap between stereotype and reality. And reality normally is a lot more interesting, but also a lot more irregular. And corsets are for turning an irregular reality into an idealized thing. And I found that interesting. So I worked about corsets. And then you know that corsets used to include whalebone, or actually stuff from the mouth of the whale. And at some point I just took in literature and I made a first corset just from duck bones. And I liked it so much that then I made a full-length dress. And after a while I thought, I found it boring that this was so human-centered, you know? And I think that maybe also the future, a lot of people are telling us that the future of our bodies is that we will become cyborgs with integrated technology. But maybe we will just get closer to other species. You know, I always wanted a yoga teacher who was half a tree. And I started making these hybrids. Because I think at the core of our problem, of the problems of the planet right now is how we deal with other species, and I think that's something that needs to change. And we have this deep-seated wish for harmony with other species. There's all this love for animals, for plants. Nobody wants them destroyed really, but it's still happening. And that's something that went into these pieces. You can see that these are partly animal, partly human shaped, and of course something where you can see the bones is not in the best of health normally. Yeah. But they're also something that you can put on and take off. It's like an animal shape that you could put on to become closer to get closer to another species. That's the idea here.
But it is possible to wear them. It would be possible to wear them.
Theoretically, it is possible. Actually, Regina had one on. It looked fantastic. But in the show, I prefer, I think this empty space inside is quite important. It is important that this empty space is not occupied by another person's body, so that it can be occupied by your own imagination instead. Yeah. But I have been thinking about making pieces to put on in a show just to get the feeling, like that physical contact. So I think I want to do something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I have.
Also because I have other pieces that are about stuff that you put on to change your perception and your body perception also. I'm participating in the show Education Shock at the House of World Cultures, at Haus der Kultur in der Welt right now. And there I have a number of objects which are all about perception and changing your reactivating your body memory and so on. I think these are also related.
I have a few more pictures. This is kind of like with a Schnabel.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and I think Chris and this was the first one that Chris and Regina wanted to show, and I think they picked it because it looks like a plague doctor, and it fit into the epidemic times.
Yeah, but it's very interesting because both artworks by So and Sofia are very technical, and this one is super untechnical in a way.
I wouldn't say it's untechnical, but it's definitely low tech.
Low tech, yes. Low tech, yeah. Non-electronic tech. Yeah,
it's completely. It works completely without electricity.
Yeah. But you're also showing these robots, right? And what do they do? They walk, or what do they do?
Yeah, they walk around making a lot of noise. There is a video on my site, but I don't know if you could open it.
Sure. That would be totally possible. I think I already have it here.
Wonderful.
Ah, yeah. But what I'm wondering with these robots actually is you have the bones, but no, in this one it's different. Because for the other one it's mainly decoration, I would say, because you have the feet and the legs are all made of plastic and it's just attached to it. But the other one is different. We can see here.
Yeah, well, for the smaller one, it's true that the plexiglass legs are the same length as the small bones, but the others actually walk on the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like this one because it's
Which part of the bone? From the is it chicken?
I don't know what animal these are. They're probably they're probably deer or something.
Oh.
And these are bobcat and raccoon, the small ones. And these are mandibles. And the other ones were probably shin bones or something. And of course, you know, we're having this problems that so many species are dying, and then a lot of people come up. The only solution they can come up with is, let's construct new artificial animals like pollination engines or so. And of course, that piece is also a satire on that kind of idea. You know? Like similar to this, there recently there was a big competition about who could invent a machine that would filter carbon dioxide from the air and store it in the ground. And of course, that kind of machine is called a forest. And these machines are, you know, kind of fitting into that discourse.
Yeah.
In the way how they do not quite work as trying to be real animals. They fail. I have a lot of machines that fail. You know, I have a whole series about social-emotional service machines, and they all fail all the time.
Social emotional. Interesting.
Yeah, like a belly stroking machine for when you're for communication hierarchies, or when you're a freelancer and you have to kind of take good care of your contacts all the time, and you have to ego stroke people. So we thought we could mechanize it. There's also a no machine, which makes it easier to say no. And I have a grant for the winter to build a CV machine where you type in all your failures in life, and the machine translates it into a perfect CV.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a former condom vending machine.
I see a lot of parallels with Jordi. That's interesting. I didn't notice that before. If I had known that, we could have included him in this discussion. But I didn't know that these two topics we had today were so closely related. I didn't expect this actually, because these are kind of like, for me, they could also be kind of these kind of speculative design objects in a way. Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
I was very happy about what Jordi told, and maybe I join the workshop if I can find the time. Oh yeah, that's Chester Toupee. That is for all insufficiently masculine persons in negotiations. You put it on, you go and negotiate your wages. Yeah, that means, because as women, of course, we earn. In Germany, I think at the moment we earn about 77 cents to every euro a man gets paid. So put on the Chester Toupee, get €1 for €1 and not 77 cents, and then go home and take it off.
Did you
if
really?
You all leave it on, depending on what you prefer.
Is this yours? Like, did you put it in the newspaper, or is this just some found thing?
That is a real ad I found. That's a real historical ad from the early 80s.
Nice.
Or late 70s.
Mit behaarter Brust sofort mehr Erfolg. Schön.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. You know, reality is better than you cannot fake it. It's reality is best so often.
Yeah, that's true. What is this? Are these glasses about?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. That is the project I did for the Haus der Kulturen der Welt. This is all about learning and school. It's a show that is called Education Shock. It's about politics, reform, and learning in the 1960s and 70s. And they invited the Street College, which is a Berlin initiative for people who didn't survive or who didn't cope or who couldn't get through our school system, who couldn't fit into the system, or maybe the system was not suited to them is maybe the right way. And Street College and we together developed these objects, and I built them. And these are all people talking. They're putting on these glasses and then describing the experience, thinking back to school, and comparing the experience and talking about their time in school, about what worked and what didn't work, and what they would have liked.
So it's kind of like the classes are kind of like an intervention in this interview situation.
We wanted it to be an intervention, and we developed an online version instead. So there's also a DIY animation. There are instructions for you to do it at home with transparent spoons from the ice cream parlor.
Okay, yeah. So that's the pandemic version of it.
Yes, exactly.
Do it yourself.
And it seems far away, but I think this is also closely related to the bone costumes and the bone boards, because it is also something that you put on to modify your body, to modify your perception. And it's not directly a machine, but it's kind of a body extension that turns you into a utopian body. And I think that's also what a lot of machines basically are about. A lot of machines are about utopian bodies, about creating new, more capable, or at least different bodies.
Would you say that this is kind of a topic that goes through your work, like modifying the Wahrnehmung, like the perception? Is that something that interests you very much?
Definitely, but I'm also very interested in hybrid bodies, in non-conformers and non-normative bodies.
Yeah. So, did you say what your background was? Like, what did you study art?
No, I studied art history a long time ago.
Yeah. Because most of these more sculptural, I don't know, the pieces. No, it's very crossover fashion, and I don't know. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Jordi says on the chat that he wanted to ask you if you see your objects as critical speculative design objects. I mean, you answered that already.
Absolutely. I was completely fascinated by what he said, because I saw so many parallels. For my work, I prefer to say that I work in the direction of speculative fiction, but speculative design comes close, and I think we come from a similar idea. This idea of that. To have a better world, a world that works better socially, environmentally, we need to overcome conservative narratives.
Yeah, definitely. Even though Sofia is not here, I think perhaps we should at least show a bit of her work too. I mean, it was on your website already, but we can also, I think, show some other stuff she has been working on, and perhaps Regine, you can say a few words about it. You're showing something from the Neural Zoo in the exhibition?
Yes. It is a little bit coming along like a slideshow of seemingly morphed images. So, as I said, from an art historical point of view, we were very fascinated with seemingly similarities with natural historical images of animals like frogs, parrots, like you would think of animal atlas or animal teaching books, right? To learn the animals. You think of fish, you think of parrot, you think of subaquatic nature, flora, fauna. So it has something systemic, it has something taxonomic, but what is here, the point is, it's absolutely off. It is this self-learning system of neural network, and the basis and the source is where Sofia here is working with is found footage in the internet. I think this is actually, in this multi-layered complexity in her artistic work, also interesting that it is basically also on the tertiary level statement of actually morphed images in a way of the condensity of found footage, but actually coming back to neural network. So it is an automatism. So actually it's basically, it puts into theme representation of artificial life, generative forms of life. That's what it in general shows us. And she focuses on organic life using artificial mechanisms to simulate itself and to evolve. And this is then brings also an interesting discourse in it about evolution or post-evolution. I think with this she tackles here a lot transhuman life forms in the wish of going beyond human evolution. How can we trick, or how can we play, how can we influence nature? And in the end, I would see Sofia's take here in a very intelligently ironic take to say, she reveals basically here the artificial intelligence and the neural network, because we see the points, we see it's ein bisschen wie Narben, yeah? It's a little bit like stars, where we see it's off here. We look for the second eye, we look for the mouse, it's missing, it's odd. Maybe it even is hurting when we see these misconceptions, misconstructions of maybe very well-known animals. So she plays with systems, she plays with recognition, she plays with similarity, and our expectation of what we expect from nature to see and to recognize. Yeah. So that was neural. And then she also shows a very new piece. I don't know if you find it here. This is not a jellyfish.
This jellyfish does not exist. Ah.
Yeah. And this jellyfish doesn't exist is basically a very interesting take. I already rephrased it in the modernist term. Again, a historical reference. I look back to René Magritte, the surrealist painter, and drawing a pipe and then say ceci n'est pas une pipe. Yeah. This is not a pipe. And here basically this is not a jellyfish. Of course, it is not only a representation. It is not only not a representation of a jellyfish. It is actually a neural network working itself through computerized systems and images of jellyfish.
I always get a new jellyfish when I click. Now I got it. Nice. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I'm sorry, I'm just talking non-stop. See, I'm so fascinated. Also, what I find interesting and noteworthy, and this is actually also touching aspects that Käthe said, we might think primarily that she challenges and brings into discourse neural network, artificial intelligence on the level of fauna. But basically, she is doing a whole artistic research project together with a very interesting Slovenian artist, Robertina Šabjanic. We also exhibited several times in the last few years. Ljubljana-based Robertina Šabjanic has worked since 2014 with jellyfish, and also actually on the mechatronic side. Julian, this might be actually really interesting for you. I sent you a link. Robertina Šabjanic made a mechatronic installation with jellyfish, where by pulsating the jellyfish, they would actually decide the machine. But actually coming back to Sofia, so they both work together, and as much as their aesthetic approach is different, you can say that both their interest is driven by the idea of the sixth extinction of species and the, I call it, post-Anthropocene era that we are living in, and climate change and radical global changes on our planet. And taking jellyfish, just imagine only beings that are more than 500 billion years old. Just think about it. Put us in place 500 million years, and us, then we become very minute. I find this so relaxing, this idea. Homo sapiens is just becoming so unimportant. And as humans, we might look at jellyfish in a very arrogant attitude of coming from cognition and intelligence, but then put yourself in place on an evolutionary base. So here we are. And this artistic research is just only has been starting, and I think we're going to see very interesting projects from Sofia in this direction.
Yeah, nice. I also really like her work, definitely. But yeah, talking also a bit about the technical details of this exhibition. Perhaps you can, because it is actually possible to come to your place and visit this exhibition, right?
Yes.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yes, crazy. And people still do have legs. And when we look around, the people have a back of their head. And this is really funny. And you can smell one another, even if it's only through the mask. No, but joking aside, we opened this exhibition with these wonderful works by Käthe and Sofia. Opened it on the 30th of April. Mm-hmm. We were not sure if we even could show it physically to the world, but we said it is so important, we just make it happen. And then we had this virtual program with talks, and also like we had a virtual opening live stream. And then since last weekend, we are already open to receive visitors. You would have to reserve. You go to our website, you go to the exhibition site, you actually put it in the chat if you want.
Yeah, I already did put the link there, but I can also put the sign-up link. I just have it here, the pre-tix link, and then you book a slot, right?
Exactly. You book a slot. That can be coming up to 5 people at the same time, or actually also one household, basically, and several households. And what we also have there, of course, it's the direct embodied experience with the works. A few of them could just see or get a glimpse. And then also we have, this is what Chris and me, we call curatorial, sustainable or discursive curatorial approach and methodologies. We have a reading lounge where you can get a lot of more information after examining the works, experiencing the objects, the robots, the laser mice, the neural network, the bone costumes. You could sit and read about Sol and Sofia and Käthe, and you get a better insight. We have actually whole folders laying out there with papers, articles, portfolios. This is actually what we call discursive curating, because we research also about the artists that we show, and we have actually then publication coming up. So this is actually also sharing knowledge basically with the public. This is sort of that we go actually very deep into if we want, and the public is invited.
But you have a publication coming out about your process or your approach to this curational practice, or
Not in particular. Yeah, I have written a lot of articles, and there has been published a lot, and will be published a lot, and about this exhibition, maybe, hopefully. But yes, actually, we research and bring together always a lot of secondary literature for future publications, but then also parallel to the exhibited works, we want to share the knowledge, because we think we offer the public quite complex topics. And we would not expect that everyone is a specialist in robotics. Not everyone is a designer coming into the exhibition space. Not everyone is a microbiologist. So we want to be fair, and we would like to have a broad audience, which we do have. And with the help of these source books, these like 3 folders, people have time and want to stay, you can get a better glance. We start very with low articles, sometimes even like Wikipedia. Why not? And then in the folders we go really to high-end scientific papers if you want. You can also just note the sources and then read them at home, or we can later on discuss this at. You can also see online these artist talks, and we were very happy to go, and Käthe took a lot of time in the last few Thursdays, and next week we're going to talk with Sofia on the 3rd of June. And so we'd always try, in other words, to not to reduce the embodied experience with the artworks, of course, but to give a plus. We actually bring a whole dispersive panorama actually along with the events that we do.
Nice. Sounds good. So people watching this, you can go to the website and book your slot for tomorrow, starting at 2 o'clock. Go and see the exhibition. I think it's totally worth a trip, and it's also a nice experience to go to a gallery again. I haven't been to a gallery in quite some time, I have to admit.
Let's meet there, Julian.
Yeah, I think I can't make it tomorrow, but I will, of course, stop by. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. The exhibition will run, if you allow me to say that, the exhibition will be open until the 27th of June.
Yeah, so you have some time left.
Yeah.
27th. Ah, that's exactly in 1 month. Perhaps we can meet for the closing party then, when the pandemic is over in a month. Let's see.
Idea.
It was
super closing
nice.
parties should be nice. I mean, there was no opening party.
Yeah, shit. Yeah.
We should do this.
We should do this. Perhaps it can be done with only limited people and outside and with distance. I don't know. Perhaps we can have robots that that kind of take care of keeping the distance or something.
We need the robots to carry glasses back and forth or so.
Yeah. Would be
Let's
nice.
do that.
Okay, you will hear from us if we can manage to do this. Very nice. It was super nice talking to you.
Yes, thanks for the opportunity to.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. It was fun. And
great atmosphere. Thanks. That was a great talk.
Cool. I'm happy that you also enjoyed it. Yeah, let's stay in touch. And that was it for today. If there are not any, I have to check the chat now. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice evening, and visit the exhibition and join the workshop from Jordi. Don't forget to do that. And see you next time. We are back with our live stream in 2 weeks, every second Thursday. So let me check my calendar. It's on the 10th of June. We'll see each other again with, hot topics that
it's
I
the
don't
same
know
day
of
of the workshop.
today. It is! It is.
I think so.
Perfect. First the workshop, then time for dinner, and then the show.
Exactly. The workshop ends at 6 o'clock. So there is some time to come to the Retune live stream again. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.